And they were saying things like, we must stop this president. We need an insurance policy against this president. That, in my view, when you have people that are in the highest echelons of the law enforcement of this nation saying things like that, that sounds an awful lot like a coup, and it could well be treason.
Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney raising the possibility that anti-Trump text messages between former FBI investigators Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and whatever else they were discussing could amount to treasonous activity. Strzok, as you may recall, briefly worked on special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation. So let's discuss it with National Security Attorney Bradley Moss and former DOJ counsel Jamil Jaffer. Welcome to you both, gentlemen.
Even having us.
Okay, so in response to that, Preet Bharara, former U.S. attorney, says this: elected officials keep making casual, ignorant, idiotic accusations of treason. Trump does it. Just saw Liz Cheney do it. Read the Constitution and knock it the hell off. That's a quote, Grandma. I didn't use the H word. But Jamil, what do you make of that?
I mean, look, I'm not sure I agree with Liz Cheney that this was treason or amounts to a coup. Certainly, Strzok and Page did inappropriate things that no investigator should do. Strzok has been fired. That's the right thing to do. Page is under investigation. There's an ongoing IG investigation. The FBI is doing the right things to get these problems taken care of. I think that when you go down the road of calling it a coup or treason, I mean, that's what happens in tin pot dictatorships. That's not what we do here in America. It's not what the FBI, the Justice Department's about. They're investigating themselves. The Congress is doing the investigations. We should see what comes out of those rather than using those very strong words. It troubles me.
Yeah, we have 3 that we know of, at least these investigations into the investigators. There could be more, but those 3 at least public. Okay, so Charlie Kirk, conservative commentator, says this on Twitter: imagine text messages about Hillary Clinton written by leading FBI agents saying she won't win, we'll stop it, or talking about an insurance policy with the deputy director of the FBI. It would be treason. Why do Democrats think Strzok and Page should get away with it? Bradley.
Wow, it's a very nice idea by Charlie Kirk. Let's get all the text messages from all the FBI agents in New York who were part of the reason why James Comey decided that he had to release that letter at the end of the election talking about reopening the inquiry into the email investigation when they got Anthony Weiner's laptop. It was because of leaks that were coming out of the FBI field offices in New York. So by all means, Charlie, start calling for the release of every single text message, every single internal email by those different FBI field agents in New York. Let's see what they said about Hillary Clinton.
But is he right to say that if these same texts were discovered about Hillary Clinton, that Democrats would be way more upset than they are?
I'm sure they would be. I'm sure they'd be politically upset in the sense of this is not the way anybody should be talking. But the question here, what's being raised, especially with what Liz Cheney said, what the president keeps saying, is that this somehow amounts to treason. It was an attempted coup. A coup by what? They didn't even tell anybody during the election. If they truly were trying to stop Donald Trump from becoming president, wouldn't they have been running to the papers saying, if we're going to stop him?
They were leaks,
but they never. No one ever disclosed the extent of what was actually going on. We did not have confirmation that there was an ongoing counterintelligence investigation into the Trump campaign. That would have been a great way to have buried the Trump campaign.
Okay, the New York Times reporting a couple of days ago under the headline, Trump's targeting of intelligence agencies gains a harder edge, said this about former CIA Director Brennan, who is now out there talking even more, said the White House said that the president was ordering the revocation of Mr. Brennan's clearance, but the White House never followed through with the complex bureaucratic work it would have taken to strip the clearance. Jamil, I mean, we're told that there was a lot of pushback within the DOJ and other folks who said, no, this is not the path for you. But the president had talked tough about doing that. Is it a mistake on his part that he didn't, or was it the right call?
Well, look, I think at the end of the day, trying to revoke a former CIA director's security clearance, even though John Brennan has gone well beyond where any former director should have gone in terms of his politicization of what's going on in the media, and his tweets are just way over the top and well beyond what other former senior officials have done. The president probably stepped a little far by going out there and saying he's going to revoke the clearance, and he probably made the right move stepping back off that ledge. Probably the right decision, I think, by the president in this case. And look, Brennan even just recently said that the president has gone too far and suggested that CIA Director Haspel should ignore the president's order, start declassifying information if the AG directs so. That obviously is ridiculous. The classification authority is derivative of the president's commander-in-chief authority, and the CIA Director and everybody else in the government should follow his orders if directed to do so. Now, that being said, the AG and the president should both step very carefully if they're going to disclose intelligence sources and methods, particularly if they're Americans or foreigners who are giving us information, because it makes it that much harder for us to recruit people if we're disclosing people's names.
Yeah, and GOP Senator Lindsey Graham said on Fox News Sunday this week, he said the people that are worried about the declassification are the ones who could be exposed for taking the law into their own hands. He says it doesn't surprise me that people we're looking at don't want transparency.
Well, look, The concern here is, and I think, Jamil kind of touched on this, the idea that there'll be cherry-picked, selective declassification. If the Attorney General is going to have this authority the President gave him, if he's going to be releasing all this, then do it completely and categorically and systematically. Make sure all context is there. If it is selectively done to paint the IC and to paint the FBI in the worst possible light and to defend the President, no one's going to have any faith in it beyond the President's
Yeah, and I think we may get more leaks if that happens. Okay, Bradley and Jamil, thank you both for coming in.
Absolutely.